as representatives from our chamber, from our university systems, we worked really hard to create an ecosystem that would attract the investment that we're seeing here today. I want to be grateful to all who made this possible, not only you, but then, right, we needed funding. And we are here to talk about even more funding that is going to be made available to this project. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but I do want to thank Senators Schumer and Gillibrand. I want to thank our Congressman Tonko, our Governor Hochul, who is supporting this industry, not just here in the Capital Region, but throughout the state, and has really made a commitment to ensure that we are growing these jobs here in the Capital Region. And of course, President Biden is building us back better, and his commitment not only to infrastructure investment, but to ensuring that we are creating an ecosystem that builds on jobs, that builds on opportunity, and that finally takes serious our commitment to ending our contribution to what is driving global climate change. That is transformational, that is generational, and it is that vision that is really led to us being here today. We are so excited that Secretary Granholm is here. We're grateful to Secretary Buttigieg and the entire team at the White House who understand how important it is to create green jobs. We as mayors across the country have been on the forefront of a commitment to ending global climate change. And one of the things that we have been saying over and over again is that for the average resident, for the people in our cities, we need to connect that fight to jobs and opportunity. That's why we're here today. I'm going to turn it over to Rich Hendrick, the CEO of the Port, to talk about the exciting announcements for today.
Thank you, Mayor, and welcome to everyone. I'm thrilled to welcome you here to the Port of Albany, New York. On behalf of the Albany Port District Commission Board of Commissioners, the entire staff and the team at the Port of Albany, we're thrilled to be joined by federal, state, and local leaders today to acknowledge and support the importance of offshore wind. We have been working tirelessly to develop this industry opportunity here at the Port of Albany. Our commitment to this is to maximize our economic development contribution to the region and to New York State. Our goal is to make the industry a reality in this country and to make a difference to climate change. We're thrilled to be in a partnership with Equinor and Marmon Wellcon to develop the very first offshore wind tower manufacturing operation in the United States. I want to thank the Governor and NYSERDA for your leadership. I'd like to thank our federal partners for supporting and making this possible. As our local leaders know, this is not an easy path to walk. There are engineering requirements, permitting requirements, funding and resource needs, and there are community collaborations, and there is technology and innovation necessary to make this all a reality. But you know what? At every turn, we have experienced American ingenuity. And the spirit and determination to make this happen. Most groups, including our engineering experts and community friends and representatives from the construction, building, and labor forces have said, how can we help get it done? This is a testament to the excitement and energy surrounding this effort and partnering with the best in class to make it happen. You ever have them days where you can't get a piece of paper apart? There we go. Sorry. You know, when this port was dedicated almost 90 years ago, then New York Governor Franklin Roosevelt, soon to be President of the United States, said about the Port of Albany, probably no other port in the world has been blessed with so many natural advantages for commercial development and the convenient and economical transportation of goods as the Port of Albany. He was talking about connecting the engineering marvel, the Erie Canal, and the region to the world. His words are still true today about how this state and this community will help build components at the Port of Albany, build offshore wind towers along the eastern seaboard of the United States and beyond. We are ready to get to work. Thank you. And it's my pleasure to introduce the President of Equinor, Siri Espada Kindem. Thank you.
Well, still good morning. Good to be here and good to be in a warehouse. I can almost smell the industry build-up already. And it is an exciting day. And I want to thank Secretary Granholm, Governor Hochul, Senator Gillibrand, Congressman Tonko, for their leadership, and all our partners and stakeholders that are making the offshore wind progress possible. After more than 2 decades of New York leadership in offshore wind power, we are seeing these policies, plans, and investment become a reality. And our projects are on the path to provide over 3.3 gigawatts of offshore wind power to New York. And these also offer a large-scale, tangible demonstration of carbon reduction being driven by New York's green energy transition, and importantly, the tremendous economic benefit and activity that will be generated by the offshore wind industry. And we are proud to help lead the growth of this exciting new industry in New York. And I also want to thank the governor and NYSERDA for their partnership and the governor's leadership and ambition, and also Doreen Harris' steady and direct approach along the way. In addition, I also want to thank our joint venture partner BP. We are proud to have you on our side as we move forward on offshore wind in the US together. The Biden administration's ambitious goal of 30 gigawatt of offshore wind by 2030 has been a huge boost to achieving New York's own ambitions. So thank you, Secretary Granholm, for your willingness to take this industry to the next level and beyond. And as a result of this administration's leadership, you will see great progress on the energy transition and great benefits that the sheer scale of offshore wind can provide. Once completed, Equinor and BP's portfolio of active offshore wind projects will produce enough electricity to power 2 million New York homes and help generate more than 1 billion in economic output in New York State. And of course, that includes investments in ports and infrastructure that will reinforce New York's position as a global offshore wind industry hub and a leading example of economic activity driven by today's energy transition. And Equinor, we are committed to New York and to harnessing business to create a supply chain and develop local partnership that will engine for this new industry. And we're dedicated to building local supply chain and boosting manufacturing. And as evidence by our work here are the Port of Albany and the Plant Tower Fabrication Facility. And this is what our investment in Port of Albany is all based on, combining forces with established company like Marmon and Welcome to help create a premier manufacturing facility for this new industry. This is the first of its kind facility in the US, and it stands to become a go-to source for towers, transition pieces, and other components as offshore wind continues to grow along the East Coast. This is what creating a local supply chain looks like. So thank you all for your contribution in moving this forward. This is truly a great day for offshore wind, for Equinor and our partners, most importantly for the state of New York and the nation. So thank you, and then I will leave the word to our good partner BP. Felipe, please.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for hosting us. First of all, Secretary Granholm, it's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you for making the time to host us. Governor Hochul, Similarly, thank you very much for your commitment to the state of New York. Doreen Harris, thank you very much for, again, hosting us today and for all your efforts over the last few months to get us to this milestone today. Congressmen and other officials, thank you very much. I'll keep my speech brief. First of all, I think this is a really fantastic date. For us, with Equinor, our partners in the Empire Wind projects, today is a very fundamental milestone in de-risking these projects and really moving forward. We, as Equinor, have ambitions to grow the renewable business globally, and it is very clear that these type of milestones is what demonstrates that these new businesses are becoming a reality. We also understand that these projects, which are large, complex, and capital intensive, cannot progress if it is not with a partnership between government, both at the national level, federal level, as well as industry and partners. In this case, infrastructure players like the Port of Albany, Martman and Wellman, in the case of the Tower Transition Piece construction. So it is a real pleasure to be here today. This, for us, represents a real step forward in BP's ambition in the U.S. The United States represents the largest country for BP in its global portfolio in terms of its energy business, not just in hydrocarbons, refining, retail, but also we've declared that we want to build a 50 gigawatt capacity in renewable power generation globally out to 2030. About half of that will be offshore wind, and the United States represents one of the core markets where we intend to deploy that. And we will continue to work with our partner Equinor to look at other opportunities in the U.S., but importantly to progress the Empire Wind projects for which this port will become an absolute key, critical piece of infrastructure. So again, thank you very much for all the support from all the parties involved, Port of Albany, government officials, Equinor, and other advisors and other people that have been instrumental to getting us to today's milestone. And you can definitely count on BP's commitment to progress these projects forward and to help the state of New York meet its renewable power targets. Thank you very much.
I'm Patrick from Marmon. 30 years ago, I came for the first time in the Albany area, more precisely to visit GE Schenectady. The goal was to find work for my people in Quebec. It was the first of a long series of visits over the years that totally changed the face and the future of our company in Quebec. To come back here 3 decades after that first trip and to give back to this community means a lot to us. Sincerely, means a lot to us. Marmon and Welcon, which is our partner in that project from Denmark, we have one goal: to build the best facility of its kind in the world, second to none. In that process, we will create hundreds of jobs for people that are excited about making things that have never been done yet in the world, because these components, as we speak, barely exist on drawings. For people that are passionate about offshore wind, which will be one of the great industries of the future. For people that will be proud to say to their kids, their friends, their parents, you see the amazing part there? That's what I do. And to people that will be part of a great family working atmosphere. I can tell you right away, it will be a challenge. Execution is starting now, it will be a challenge. But with our 2 fantastic partners, Port of Albany and Equinor, with all the different institutions of the Albany area that have been more than receptive about our project, with the dedication of all the different level of governments that really, really believe in the green energy, we will make it happen. And I can guarantee you that it will be a lot of fun. That's for sure. That's it. I will let Florencia from the office of Senator Gillibrand. I'm not a U.S. guy, so I still have to learn about politics, to say a few words to you. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Florencia, and I'm Senator Gillibrand's Capital Region Director. It's an honor to welcome Secretary Granholm to the Capital Region and to show off all the great work happening here to push our state and our nation toward a clean energy future. There's no better place to show that commitment than the Port of Albany, which will be home to some of the first manufacturers to make offshore wind towers in America. Senator Gillibrand fought to bring $30 million to help kickstart this project. The efforts here show the role that New York can play in the future in our state and nation, and Senator Gillibrand will continue to do whatever she can to support growing our state's role in the future of clean energy and technology. Thank you. And next up, we have Steve Mann from Senator Schumer's office.
Good morning. Senator Schumer called me this morning and asked that I read this message to you. Hello, everybody. I wish that I could be there with you this morning at the Port of Albany, but I was in Washington last night still fighting for voting rights and got back to Brooklyn early this morning. I'm so appreciative that Secretary Granholm is visiting the Capital Region today and commend my friends, Senator Gillibrand and Congressman Paul Tonko, for facilitating this visit. We are also excited for the new offshore wind tower manufacturing project and the opportunity to create 750 new good-paying jobs here in the Albany area. This is a game changer for the port and the region. I am proud to have worked with the Biden administration to secure a $30 million grant through the Department of Transportation last month that will be used to build the South Wharf where the tower project will be located. Of course, this project and these jobs will be part of a broader and essential shift into climate-friendly, renewable power generation under Governor Kathy Hochul's leadership and the leadership of Secretary Granholm and President Biden. This is a true win-win-win for New York. It is a win for the Capital Region in terms of jobs. It's a win for New York in terms of renewable power, and it's a win for the United States as we continue to achieve energy independence. I hope to see you all very soon. Chuck. Now I'm from Rensselaer, just across the river, and I've been a Capital Region resident my whole life, and I just think we all know, right, that the Capital Region is truly blessed to be represented in Congress by Paul Tonko. He is smart and compassionate in everything that he does, but he is a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and he's the chair of the Subcommittee on Environment and Climate Change. And he's precisely the right person at such a pivotal time in our history. Please welcome our friend, Congressman Paul Tonko.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. What a great bit of excitement and innovation and hope that's built into this morning's news. And the visit is a really well-timed one. Secretary Granholm, welcome to the 20th Congressional District of New York, the Capital Region, the state of New York. We love you for all the work you're doing. Maybe it's the engineer in me or the planner in me that really is excited about the way we've come together with Build Back Better as a nation. The president keeps spouting these words about Build Back Better. But it's moments like this that really provide that reality check, that definition. We not only want to build this economy, not just to pre-COVID, but we want to make certain that it's an innovation economy, a 21st century economy that has the tools in the toolkit that enable us to be visionary. And it's been said, where there's no vision, the people perish. And so it's great to join with so many today with Senators Schumer and Gillibrand not being able to be here, having their representatives here, our local officials, our Mayor Sheehan and County Exec McCoy, who are so excited about this news, our state reps who have been part of the efforts with Governor Hochul. And Governor Hochul, thank you for having the boldness of vision again to put forth in the budget a down payment for continued growth so that we here in the state of New York can be inspired by that opportunity for innovation and to make certain that we as an Empire State live up to that measurement as we move into this new economy. Thank you, Doreen and the team at NYSERDA, my last workstation before I came to the Hill in Washington. And so I thank you and the consummate professionals at NYSERDA for implementing a lot of the vision and the policy making and the resource gathering that is required. Now to our guest. Secretary Granholm is an innovator. She has had a great career in developing new sectors in the economy. She's emphasized clean energy. As a two-term governor in Michigan, she made it her goal to make certain that she not only stabilized the Michigan economy, grew the economy, but diversified the economy. And so she is a perfect choice with her clean energy wisdom, with her track performance in Michigan, to lead the Department of Energy, which is pivotal in this vision, in the Build Back Better, of which the President speaks. It will be part of a cornerstone of a future that grows into a new job market. And so she is the perfect person to deal with this pivotal agency, because the Department of Energy reinforces what needs to be done. They believe strongly and work hard to make certain they invest in R&D, that they invest in workforce development, that they invest in clean energy technology manufacturing, and that they invest in transmission, the investment in the grid. I see Rich here shaking his head. Thank you for the tour this morning at ISO. But it's that transmission that's so important. As we talk about these towers that will be constructed here, as we talk about the foundations being built just down the river, we are going to need to make certain that we connect that infrastructure to the shoreline so that the millions of consumers, including a lot of New Yorkers and beyond, that will require that power will have that virtual reality check that brings that to the source. So it's so important to have that laser-sharp focus for transmission, which the Secretary has driven over at the Department of Energy. She knows it's an important asset. And you know, it's important to recognize that this opportunity for offshore wind as part of that clean energy cycle, one that has no fuel cost, is important. And when we look at offshore wind, yes, it's an asset. It's a treasure to be able to meet those robust goals of national and state clean energy goals. But it's beyond that. It's the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come around to enable us to grow the economy, a new sector of the economy. And this is a sweepstakes that's very robustly competitive. And so we need to invest through Build Back Better. As the President says, here's our opportunity to show the world that we're a leader, that we're harnessing the intellect of this nation and the vision produced by so many at the local level. And thanks to the team with the local governments and the state governments and the port facility, making certain that we have this vision, because it then percolated into a facilitation that the President and his cabinet have incorporated. This is a great opportunity. When we heard that news just recently from the United States Department of Transportation, providing for the award of nearly $30 million, it was great to see that work on the Hill put into action through the agency with that news that allows for us to now see Albany as a leader in being one of the first in the large-scale offshore wind tower manufacturing. Isn't that a feather in the cap? That is a true feather in the cap. That will create hundreds, if not 1,000 jobs that are quality jobs, union jobs. You know, the President again reminds us why we need to build back better than pre-COVID, because COVID brought out some glaring challenges. The fact that we were too reliant on foreign supply chains. And so now it's important for us to address that by creating supply chains that will feed our own industry needs coming from within our shores, making certain that we are more resilient as a supply chain economy. That's part of Build Back Better. This is the vision that the President keeps talking about and why the House continues to advocate so strongly, and we need the Senate to come on and move forward and get this done, and they will. They will. I'm convinced we'll have our Build Back Better work done because of the leadership in the Senate that will follow the work that's been done in the House. And so I'll conclude with this. I believe it's so important for us to make certain that we get this right. We have the opportunity now to take the tools of the talent we have, the resources we have, the geography. This mighty deep river will enable us to be the epicenter of offshore wind manufacturing that will serve the entire eastern seaboard. That's a great opportunity. We don't walk away from that opportunity. So we need to do this right. We need to do it right and make certain it's done with sound-paying union jobs that will get the work done and create that model that really provides for a brighter tomorrow. Speaking of a brighter tomorrow, I have the pleasure of introducing our governor, Kathy Hochul, who has shown a real strong sense of leadership, who has taken the talent of this state, NYSERDA and many agencies. Commissioner Sagos, thank you for the work at DEC, for making certain that climate change is that cleanup of the economy. So it's important to have leadership at the very top. We have that in Kathy Hochul as governor. She has that vision. She shares the vision. She's introduced many investments in the budget that we have. And so we go forward with this simple set of ideals. First, we grow jobs. Then we provide for opportunity for local manufacturers. We provide for innovation to take hold in our economy. And finally, we reduce pollution. Isn't that a great series of dynamics for which we should all be working? And when we do that, we create the model for the country and the world as we go forward with offshore wind. So, Governor Hochul, welcome to the podium. Thank you for your leadership at the state level as our nation's effort to see what's going on with our government here in New York. Thank you, Governor. Good to see you. Let me get that out of your way.
Okay. Good morning. Paul Tonko never disappoints. He's always so energetic, even in the morning. So thank you, thank you. What a fabulous day to be here. I am so excited about this announcement. And also I want to thank the collaboration that brought us here together today. So many individuals, those who are with us and those who are not. Literally, Senator Gillibrand was scheduled to be here. She called me earlier. We talked about this. We're going to spend some time with Secretary Granholm and talk about women in power and all the challenges we face. But we'll have that bonding session later. But Senator Gillibrand was sends her regrets, I know, as well. And Senator Schumer, a great partner to have the majority leader of the entire Senate as our own representative, has been nothing short of extraordinary, as well as having an incredible team here with our congressmen. We used to sit together in Congress and lament what it was like to be in the minority. Never want to be there again. It's great to be in the majority. So thank you for your friendship. And also our local partners, great friends like Mayor Kathy Sheehan, who we had breakfast with this morning. We talked to other mayors about the challenges they're facing and how we can work together to overcome them as well. In the Port of Albany, Richard, this is just incredible. What a jewel this is for us to lay claim to and say that this is part of our state's destiny, part of our history, part of our assets. And our friends at Equinor and Marmon and BP, you made it happen. You made this happen. And we know that you're going to have many more opportunities to do more. And County Executive McCoy, great to see you. Simon John McDonald, great friends. Also, the team we have in New York State government is absolutely second to none. Extraordinary leaders, people who are so committed to the cause. And I'm referring to Doreen Harris, the leader of NYSERDA. Let's give her a round of applause for all she has done for us. And Basil Sagos, Basil, the head of our DEC. They're the ones who make it happen, and I'm so energized and excited to be partnering with them in this new capacity that I've been in just about 5 months. But also the men and women of labor who will be building this. Let's give them a round of applause. They're the unsung heroes. They're the ones who will build back our country, and we're so proud of all of them as well. And I'll be referring some comments to our very special guest in a couple moments. But in 2017, I was addressing a global conference on offshore wind. People from all around the world came to this facility. It was in Manhattan, about 6,000 people, I'm told. And I stood there with the audacity of a New Yorker and declared that New York State will be the epicenter of offshore wind, and indeed all wind power will come through New York State. And back then, people said, well, that's pretty bold, but can they make it happen? Well, you can declare it first, but yes, you have to show results. I said, we will be the future of clean energy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the future. This is what the future looks like for our green energy economy and how we're going to protect this fragile planet that's been entrusted to us for the time that we live on this planet. It's our responsibility. And issues affecting Mother Earth are personal to me as someone who grew up in a place called Lackawanna, New York, where we saw the effects of pollution every single day. It was in the air we breathed. It was the orange sky that we looked out on. And it was what we saw happening to beautiful Lake Erie. It became a toxic wasteland. So this is personal to me, to come together here today and see people who also share that sense of moral obligation that we have to protect and ensure that we're doing it in the smartest, best ways. And that's what offshore wind is all about. And what is so fabulous is that we have a president who knows this and sees this and wants this to just explode as a burgeoning industry for us here in our country, to give us the competitiveness that we need to succeed as we come through this pandemic. And when I stood on the White House lawn with him and he signed the infrastructure bill into law, it was a transformational moment in our nation's history, just like when my predecessor in the governor's mansion and former President FDR did, when he saw the opportunity, when you build projects like the Port of Albany and build back this country, that's how you rise up from whatever has happened to you, whether it's the crash of '29 or it's the pandemic of 2020, 21, unfortunately 22. And it's going to stop right there because I'm not going any further with this pandemic. We'll have some good news to report on that later. So we put out a vision, we have a roadmap, we have the individuals committed to making it happen, we find our private sector partners, we find the locations, and investing in a port like this. And thank you, Joe Biden and the Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, for making the $29 million. And I heard 30, so I'll take 30. Anyone 31, 32? Right here, those investments make a difference. They make a difference. And I'm so energized by the prospects of coming back here and seeing towers manufactured here, 400-foot-long towers. You ever seen a football field? Okay, you need to turn on TV tomorrow night. There's a special game going on Saturday night, Buffalo Bills. Okay, watch, look how long that field is. That's how long someone from New England here? Okay, there's the door. Sorry about that. That's as long as a football field. And picture the image of them heading down the Hudson River on barges after being manufactured here, heading down the river. People are going to look at that and all the beautiful towns and communities we have along there and say, wow, look what's going down. That's the future, heading down the Hudson River. Just like Henry Hudson in 1609 saw the future as he came up the Hudson River. This place is special. We have a legacy of manufacturing. It's in our DNA. We know how to build steel. We know how to build with our hands and make projects that'll sustain whatever Mother Nature throws away. And that's what we're looking for in the offshore wind projects that are going to be off the shore, off of the coast of Long Island. And we're going to be able to power millions of homes, create 5,200 jobs, have the whole ecosystem, the supply chain that has been missing before, and it's happening here. And just a couple days ago, I made another announcement with another female member of the Biden administration, Secretary of Interior Holland, and working with our friend across the river, the governor of New Jersey, we said together we're going to create the necessary ecosystem so all the supply chain can be made right here. That's how we keep investing, not just in our economy, but in people. People will do those jobs. We also have to give the people the skills they need to manufacture. You don't wake up one day and know how to build one of these. You need training. So we're investing $20 million right here at Hudson Valley Community College to train the people and the skills so they can take these jobs. So that's how it all comes together. And I was proud to announce a $500 million investment in this infrastructure, in the offshore wind, in clean energy, to make sure we never say we didn't have the resources to do what was right. I will make sure of that, putting together my budget as we speak. This is a statement of our commitments here in the state of New York. So I put out a challenge to the rest of the nation, try to catch up, because we want to make sure that we can power homes, power businesses in a way that is smart, that makes up for the assault, mankind's assault on Mother Nature. Women wouldn't do that. It was mankind's assault on Mother Nature. We do things differently here. I got to stop taking shots like that. But as I'm about to introduce someone who knows what it's like to be a first, a great partner, an individual who was the first female governor of Michigan and was called to lead during an extraordinary time when the automotive industry was literally brought to its knees during a recession, and it took a strong, steady hand, an individual who says, you know, we're going to get through this, who inspired the people of her state to believe again. And what a resurgence that industry has seen. We've been proud of what you've accomplished, and now using your talents in figuring out the transition from the old legacy businesses to the new future. And you saw this happening before most did. And this is who I'm speaking about, the former governor of Michigan, the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, who President Biden saw someone who could be a partner to help inspire all of us, just like she inspired the people of Michigan at a time when they needed her the most. That's what we're so blessed to have with this administration in Washington. And those are the partners that I call my friends, my allies, and we will get through this pandemic and lead into a whole different future. And it all starts in places like the Port of Albany today. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm New York welcome to Secretary Jennifer Granholm.
Man, you know, sometimes when you're from a state and you hear your political officials talk and brag about your state, you know, you might have a tendency to go, you know, are they just blowing smoke? On this issue about New York's leadership in offshore wind, it is the real deal. I mean, you should feel entirely proud of what Congressman Tonko was saying, a whole new sector that is being created in the United States that is starting here. Now, we do hope, Gov, that the rest of the country feels that sense of competition. The West Coast feels it, that we continue to drive the supply chain down the Atlantic coast as well. But it's starting here. So it's really exciting. Your leadership is so exciting. You know, what you announced, the $500 million for offshore wind, that is huge for a state to do that. That is a commitment. You know, Congressman Tonko, he is just, I mean, he's not only such a great and energetic speaker, but he's also an energetic member of Congress as an advocate for this region, but also for this new sector, building jobs in clean energy. He puts out, I don't know, a bill a week on this area. So, and he's just been such a leader. Obviously, coming from NYSERDA, bringing that engineering experience and making sure that Congress wakes up to the job potential of this new sector. Thank you, Congressman, for your incredible leadership And I want to acknowledge the mayor and the county executive, Mayor Sheehan and County Executive McCoy, because, you know, it all starts locally, right? It all starts right here. So super exciting that you all are part of showing the rest of the country how we should be doing this. So thank you for that. And we can't do it, of course, without the private sector. So I do want to acknowledge Siri Kinman and the team from Equinor, and Felipe I'll just get this right, Arbelayas, did I get that right, from BP, and Patrick Pellerin from Marmon. You know, we have to have the private sector step up, right? And it's that combination of the private sector and the government partnership and the partnership with labor that makes this all work. And so you've got the secret sauce, you've got all of the ingredients. We want to take this example and bring it across the country. I have to say that your senators, you know, I know that they had representatives here who were speaking and they couldn't be here because they were trying to save the right to vote. It's no small matter. And they're on, well, I guess Senator Schumer made it back home, and I know as we speak, Senator Gillibrand's on a plane coming, and she and Congressman Tonko's office helped to plan this visit, so I regret that she is not here. But between Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer, and as the governor said, I mean, the fact that you have the Senate Majority Leader fighting for you, I mean, that Department of Transportation, 29.5 million is what it was, 29.5 million, would not be here were it not for that incredible leadership and the fortune that you have having that representation. That obviously is a big boost to making the Port of Albany the leader in making sure that we're building wind turbines and that whole supply chain here. It's not just the towers, we want the whole thing, soup to nuts, built here. So to our friends in the private sector, we want to make sure that the rest of that supply chain is built out here as well. I was recently in Virginia, and they are putting the blades together for their offshore wind project. I was recently in the Port of Providence, and they were putting the base together as a piece of the supply chain. We're going to see some more base investments from these projects as well. We got to get what are known as the nacelles. Those are the big things that the blades stick into with a lot of technology. We want those built here as well. All of these, because of geography, have to be built close to where they are assembled. And so, as Congressman Tonko said, this mighty, deep river is your strategic advantage, in addition to your senators and all of that. But geographically, you have what is known in economic development as a comparative advantage. And that you should definitely continue to exploit. And so, for Richard Hendrick and the port staff here, what a moment to lead the nation in offshore wind. So I want to say a word about what the Biden administration's plans are with respect to offshore wind. So as of December, in the first year of President Biden's administration, 6.4 million jobs were created. And this president is all about jobs. But 6.4 million is the most jobs that any president in the history of the United States has overseen the creation of. That's huge. In the history of the country. So we want to see, this is the Port of Albany, the Port of Albany's role in this is, of course, you can see over the horizon, you can see this big facility that will be built, which will require construction workers and tradespeople. You can see the towers that will be built, which will require specialized manufacturing workers. You can see the longshoremen that will have to position and put them on the barges. You also have to know that the barges have to be built somewhere. Those are more jobs. You know, if you use this as a creation of a hub for turbine tower manufacturing for all of these projects along the East Coast, including the New York Bight, which was just announced, This port actually was I'm told, you can tell me, it was a Dutch trading outpost, right? It was used to move furs back in the day. So now, the Dutch have always loved their windmills. So here we go, over 1,000 jobs that will be here, 500 in construction, 550 permanent jobs. And that $29.5 million investment from the administration with the partnership of Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, that's just the start, I think, of that kind of investment that you will see here in partnership. So projects like this are critical to meeting the president's goal, which is announced of putting 30 gigawatts of offshore wind onto our electric grid. So the Department of Energy, we released a report earlier this week that said in order to do that, there are 5 strategic priorities that we have to pursue as a nation. One is that we've got to increase demand for offshore wind through incentives. Those incentives are embedded, the bipartisan infrastructure law happened, right? The incentives are embedded in the second piece, which is the Build Back Better agenda, which we are hoping that Congress will take up next week. So incentives. 2, the second priority is to accelerate the trend of falling costs of offshore wind through technology, through taking it to scale. We want to drop those costs, and they've already dropped 60% in the past 5 years. We want to get it to 5 to 6 cents a kilowatt hour. And the Department of Energy, we have 17 national labs. You've got one in Brookhaven. We are working on the materials and the technology to reduce the costs of those offshore wind turbines. Third priority is to improve siting. It can't take years and years and years to site the offshore wind. So that priority has to happen, right? Fourth, I know it's technical, but it's true. It's a barrier that we've got to knock down. The fourth is investing in the supply chain, as we're seeing right here, meaning manufacturing hubs like this. And the fifth is connecting wind projects to the electric grid. And Congressman Tonko spoke about this, but this is absolutely critical. So the Department of Energy this week launched our Building a Better Grid initiative, which tells the world what our strategy is going to be to ensure that we can bust through these kind of barriers and get a grid. We've basically got to, if we want to get to 100% clean electricity in the United States by 2035, which is the president's goal, we basically have to double the size of our electric grid. So that means we've got to do an awful lot of siting. And that means an awful lot of jobs, by the way, for electric linemen and all of those. But the bottom line is we've got to have a grid that meets the moment. And so we are going to do that. So I see a gust of job growth from ports, manufacturing, to actually putting, wires, stringing the grid, burying potentially some transmission, some of it going up. The bottom line is there are jobs all over the country on this, and I give great credit to the congressman because we have been guided by your Clean Futures Act in putting that together. Another terrific example of his leadership. So the bipartisan infrastructure law, the Build Back Better agenda, we are going to do this, and we are going to get to that goal of 100% clean electricity, and we're going to keep working with Congressman Tonko and Senators Schumer and Gillibrand to make that happen. Just to close out, because I was the governor of Michigan, I love, you guys are here in this northern climate. It feels very much at home. Michigan is a hockey state as well. We are proud to be the home of the Red Wings, and Wayne Gretzky, a great Red Wings player, some of you familiar with this quote, used to say that I skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. And the whole purpose of that is to signal that in a moment of change, you have to think ahead, and you have to move to where you see the opportunities. There is an old proverb that says that when the winds of change blow, some build walls, others build windmills. Thank you for seizing this opportunity, Port of Albany and State of New York.